If you guys don't know, if you guys don't know, I am a co-host. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Darian and today I am going to be doing a very important video. I am going to be recommending books to you guys based on my favorite SpongeBob episodes. Now, unless you guys have been living under a rock or something, I don't know. SpongeBob is obviously a classic, one of God's gifts to man. One of my favorite shows ever. It is so iconic. It has so many great songs and so many great quotes. It's just amazing. And so I thought, what better video to make than recommending books based off my favorite SpongeBob episodes? None. Also, you'll notice I do have some rosé with me. I actually just finished filming a live show with my Whiners book club co-hosts. I am a co-host for a book club called the Whiners with some of my best booktube friends, and we just did a live show for the book The Secret History. I will leave it linked down below or up there, I'm not sure, or up there, whatever, if you guys want to check it out. I'll also leave our Twitter link down below if you guys want to find out what books we're reading in the coming months. Spoiler alert, in October we're reading The Kind Worth Killing by Peter Swanson. So that's why I'm drinking wine, because I didn't finish this glass, so I was like, why not film a video and keep drinking it? Also, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I am a bit tipsy, but that just makes this video even better. Okay, so yeah, let's just get on to the book recommendation. So the first episode that I want to talk about, I actually didn't look up the names of these episodes. I just call them based off what I remember from them, you know. So well, I don't know if this is my favorite SpongeBob episode, but it has my favorite quote in it. And that is the episode with Bubble Bass. Now, if you guys don't remember, Bubble Bass is this huge fish who comes into the Krusty Krab one day, orders a Krabby Patty, and claims that the Krabby Patty does not have pickles in it and that SpongeBob forgot them. And SpongeBob, he knows the Krabby Patty recipe like the back of his hand. There's no way he would forget the pickles unless someone asked for it for no pickles, obviously. And so SpongeBob starts going crazy. Bubble Bass basically gaslights him because he makes him think that he forgot the pickles when he didn't.
You forgot the pickles!
So SpongeBob goes a little crazy. He ends up going home for a while because he all of a sudden, like, he can't remember the Krabby Patty recipe, and so it kind of messes with his brain, and then he just can't remember how to do anything. And my favorite quote from this episode, and my favorite SpongeBob quote, and one of my favorite quotes of all time is, "I anything can't do right since because pickles," because we've all felt like that sometimes. And also, obviously, the episode ends where we find out that Bubble Bass was hiding the pickles under his tongue. What a guy. And SpongeBob, he remembered the pickles the whole time. So, the book that I am recommending based off of this SpongeBob episode is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. I almost said Peter Crouch, but it's not Peter, it's Blake Crouch. Now, I read this book earlier this year. If you guys don't know what this book is about, neither do I. It is about this guy, and okay, it's coming back to me. He has like the perfect life. He has the perfect wife, the perfect son, he has a respectable job, he teaches something, and he's perfectly content with his life. But it's always, there's something at the back of his mind that he could have been like a really famous and rich scientist, something like that. And then one night he is kidnapped and essentially brought to like a parallel universe where he did become this really famous scientist, but everyone in this life, you know, knows him as this, I can't remember what the character's name is, but they know him as this like really famous scientist. And so he thinks, okay, something's going on here, but everyone else is like, no, like this is how it is. And so just like Bubble Bass is gaslighting SpongeBob, I mean, these people aren't really gaslighting him because they actually think that well, technically the people behind all this are gaslighting him. I don't know, I read the book a long time ago, and so just like SpongeBob is trying to figure out how he could forget the Krabby Patty recipe, this guy in dark matter is trying to figure out how he ended up in this alternate reality. It works, okay? That's all that matters. I picked these while I was sober, okay? So that's all I have to say. So the next SpongeBob episode I'm going to be talking about is the one with I should have looked up the names of these episodes, but it's the one where Patrick, I think, finds a like cardboard box, and then him and SpongeBob start like playing in it, and they create like all these scenarios inside this box, and Squidward doesn't understand how they could be having fun in just a plain cardboard box. And it's the famous like SpongeBob's like, you need to have imagination. It's that episode.
Well, you two shut up!
SpongeBob?
So the book that I chose for this goes with it very well. It is Bridge to Terabithia by, I'm not sure who the author is, because if you've read this book or seen the movie, you know that Jess and Leslie, his name is Jess, right? Yeah. Jess and Leslie, they find Terabithia and they create this whole world just out of their imagination. And then everything ends really well for them. So I think if you like that episode of SpongeBob, you will like Bridge to Terabithia. The next episode that I'm going to be talking about is a very famous, very iconic episode of SpongeBob, and it is the Krusty Krab pizza episode. Now, this episode is so good because we have... Okay, so someone calls the Krusty Krab one day asking if they have pizza, and Squidward is like, no we don't, but Mr. Krabs he never wants to pass up an opportunity for money, so he's like, yes we do. So then Squidward and SpongeBob are tasked with delivering a Krusty Krab pizza to this guy who apparently lives really far away, and they have to go on this journey to deliver the pizza to him. And then SpongeBob sings the famous Krusty Krab pizza song. Okay, so as you can see my cat is here now, so I'm just gonna... Can I just... Hi. Alright, well, I'm just gonna pretend she's not here. So yeah, so they go on this journey to find this guy to deliver him a pizza. The book that I am going to... Oh, and also when they get there, it's not what they expect, because the guy... he is really mean to them. So the book that I'm going to the book I'm going to recommend if you like this SpongeBob episode is House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J Maas, for obvious reasons. You know, Bryce and Hunt go on this journey to find this horn, and that's basically like most of the book is them trying to find this horn. And when they find things, it's not really what they expect, just like in the SpongeBob episode. Also, in the SpongeBob episode, they find a boulder.
That's just a stupid boulder!
It's not just a boulder. It's a rock. A rock. A rock.
That they ride to find the guy's house and deliver the pizza. And, you know, in this book, Bryce... she wants to ride something. And that's all I'm gonna say. So the next SpongeBob episode that I'm going to talk about is, I think the episode is actually called this, but it's Gary Come Home, and it's the episode where SpongeBob kind of starts to neglect Gary because he's obsessed with this like ping pong game or paddle game, something like that. And so Gary leaves home and then is basically kidnapped by this like old lady. And then, you know, SpongeBob, when he notices Gary is missing, he's really upset and he can't believe that he neglected Gary, and he feels really bad, and he just wants to find him to show him that he's gonna be a better owner. So my cat is leaving. So also this song also has this episode also has a very iconic SpongeBob song, one of the best. By the way, I'm just gonna plug my Spotify for a second because I did make a playlist like years ago on my Spotify, and it's called Bubbly Ponge. I don't know why I named it in French, but I did, and it has like 39 followers, so not to brag or anything. But yeah, that song is iconic. The book that I'm going to recommend based on this episode is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And I did just recently finish this book, which I really liked, by the way. It was pretty good. And the reason I'm recommending this book is because, I mean, this is kind of a spoiler for the book, but not really. But if you don't want to hear anything about this book, then maybe skip ahead. But in this book, you know, Evelyn has a very tumultuous relationship with Celia, and at one point Celia leaves her, and all Evelyn wants is for Celia to come home, just like SpongeBob wants Gary to come home, because Evelyn, you know, she's made mistakes, and she's gonna be a better person if Celia would just come home and she could show her that she would be a better person. So, yeah. So the next episode that I'm going to be talking about is the one where SpongeBob rips his pants, and we have the famous ripped pants song. And basically what happens is SpongeBob is trying to impress Larry the Lobster at Goo Lagoon, and he ends up ripping his pants, which makes everyone laugh at him, but he loves the attention, so he just kind of gets really cocky with it. And he just keeps ripping his pants so that girls will notice him. But the girl he really wants to notice him, which is Sandy, she is done with the way he's acting, because he's acting different all of a sudden. Like, he's acting cocky, he just wants attention, and that's not the real SpongeBob. So she kind of is upset with him, and then he finally realizes that instead of doing all this silly stuff for the attention of others, he should just be himself and get the attention of the people who really matter. So the book that I'm going to recommend, which I do own, but I'm not going to hold up because it's under a bunch of other books right now, but that is Daisy Jones and the Six, which is also by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And the reason I'm recommending this book, this is also kind of a spoiler, but kind of not really. But again, if you want to skip ahead, you can. But basically, when Billy starts getting really famous, he kind of starts to focus more on the attention he's getting than the people who really matter, like his wife, Camille, I want to say is her name. And so he starts drinking, he starts doing drugs, and he starts having sex with lots of women and cheating on his wife. And so he gets caught up in this rock star life, and he forgets what really matters, which is his wife, who really cares about him. And I think she's pregnant when this happens, so he's about to be a dad, he's about to start a family, and he just forgets all this and gets caught up in the attention of others. And this is why he is just like SpongeBob in this instance. The next episode of SpongeBob that I want to talk about is the episode with Doodlebob, which is, again, a very famous and iconic episode. If you guys don't know, this episode is when a pencil kind of magically appears in Bikini Bottom, and SpongeBob and Patrick start to draw things with it, and then everything they draw kind of comes to life. So SpongeBob, or Patrick, I don't remember which one, draws like a version of SpongeBob, and then it comes to life, and it's called Doodlebob, and he's like an evil version of SpongeBob, and he's trying to basically erase everybody because he's evil. And this is a great episode. You know, Doodlebob is one of the most iconic villains in animated history. And, you know, we have his catchphrase, me hoi manoi. Me hoi manoi.
Come on, Patrick, give me a boost up.
Can't we just stay down here where it's safe?
No way. I created this monster, and I've got to stop him. See what I mean, Patrick?
Where's the leak, ma'am?
So yeah, so the book that I'm going to recommend for this episode is The Guest List by Lucy Foley, because in the SpongeBob episode we have Doodlebob is just running around trying to erase everybody. Just like in this book, we have a killer on the loose, and they have obviously, well, someone is dead. And they could kill we don't know who it is. So they could just kill someone, and just like Doodlebob is trying to erase.
That you could.
So just like Doodlebob is just trying to erase everybody, and you know, they just can't seem to catch Doodlebob, there's a killer in this book who killed someone, and we don't know who it is, and they're just running around killing people, and we don't know. That was the best I can do. I don't know. I'm sorry. So the next episode, which is, of course, another iconic one, is, I can't remember again what the episode is called, but I think it's called Band Geeks, actually. All of a sudden it just came to me. but it's the one where Squidward kind of assembles a band because he wants to beat his arch nemesis, Squilliam. And so all the Bikini Bottom gang kind of form this band, and it looks like they're a lost cause, but then they come together and they have the most powerful and emotional and just inspirational and iconic performance of the song Sweet Victory at the end of this episode, and it's just so good. And this is the episode with, you know, is mayonnaise an instrument, iconic lines like that. And so the book that I'm going to recommend based on this episode is The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune, because our character Linus, he is assigned to go to this orphanage and he doesn't know what he's expecting. Just like Squidward doesn't really know what he's expecting with the people from Bikini Bottom. And then when Linus goes there, he feels like these kids, like there's no way these kids are gonna like pass this, like, not exam, but the thing that Linus is doing, you know what I'm talking about. Like, Linus kind of, his first impression is that these kids are too dangerous and Arthur is a little too crazy to run these kids and this orphanage, and you can tell he kind of doesn't really have hope, but then they all just kind of become a family and Linus learns to love these kids, and they just, I mean, they might as well sing Sweet Victory at the end because they just overcome so much, just like the band in this episode of SpongeBob. So if you like that SpongeBob episode, I think you will like House in the Cerulean Sea. The next episode I want to talk about is the chocolate episode, where SpongeBob and Patrick start selling chocolates door to door, and they're not selling enough chocolates, so they kind of start lying to people and telling them all sorts of things like the chocolate's gonna make them live forever and stuff like that.
They're selling chocolate!
What?
They're selling chocolate!
They're selling chocolate?
Yeah!
Chocolate. I remember when they first invented chocolate. I always hated it.
And we also have that one guy who's like chasing them the whole episode, and he's just yelling like, chocolate! And they think, they're like scared of him and they keep running away from him, and then it turns out he just wants to buy like all the chocolate they have, and they didn't even need to lie that whole time. So the book that I'm going to recommend is Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin, because I feel like Louise would definitely be the kind of person who would say lies. Well, she is, because she doesn't tell people that she's a witch, and so she would definitely lie to people about what the benefits of chocolates were that like weren't actually true. And you know, we have the guy who's chasing them who wants to buy all their chocolate, just like we have Reed in this book. He's literally a chasseur. That's his title, a chasseur. He's chassing Louise, but he doesn't know it. And then it turns out that guy wants to buy the chocolate, just like Reed just wants to, you know, be with Louise. That's all I have to say. The next episode, I just realized how many episodes I have, but it's fine. There's a lot of great SpongeBob episodes. The next episode I have is the one where Squidward thinks that he feeds SpongeBob a pie bomb, and so Squidward thinks SpongeBob is gonna explode in like 24 hours. So he lets SpongeBob have like the best 24 hours of his life because he feels bad because he thinks he killed him. And then it turns out it was a normal pie. So the book that I'm going to recommend based on this episode is Mockingjay, because Gale, you know, he was involved with a bomb, and the difference between those is that that pie didn't kill SpongeBob, but Gale's bomb, we all know what happened, so... Anyways, so finally we have reached the last episode, which is the episode with Weenie Hut? Yes, the last episode, which is the one with Weenie Hut Jr., Weenie Hut General, you know, all those. Well, I think there's like Weenie Hut Jr., and Weenie Hut General. So basically, SpongeBob and Sandy want to enter this like fight club, I guess. This, I don't know what it's called, but you go and you fight people. A fight club? I don't know. Called the Salty Spittoon. and SpongeBob doesn't get in because he's not tough enough. And he wants to get in because he wants to show Sandy that he's tough. So he keeps trying to get in, and they keep not letting him in, and they keep being like, why don't you go to Weenie Hut Juniors or whatever, because he's a weenie.
Welcome to the Salty Spittoon. How tough are you?
How tough am I? How tough am I? I had a bowl of nails for breakfast this morning.
Yes, so?
Without any milk.
Right this way. Sorry to keep you waiting.
And no matter what, SpongeBob, like, he will not accept that he is a weenie, and he just keeps trying to go in, and then finally they let him in, and he slips on an ice cube and goes to the hospital. So this episode is all about not trying to be someone that you're not, and just accepting that you are. And if you are a weenie, then that's okay. You don't have to be super tough and go in the Salty Spittoon. Sometimes you are just a weenie and you belong at Weenie Hut Juniors, and that's okay. And so the book that I am recommending based on this episode is Radio Silence by Alice Oseman, because our main character Frances, her whole life she thinks that doing well in school is all that matters. And the ultimate goal is to go to Cambridge, because that's like the highest school, the best school to go to. And so for her, that's the end goal. But she never really took the time to be like, is this what I really want? Like, is this who I am? Do I really want to spend my life studying? I can't remember what she's studying for. I think it's English, but does she really want to spend all her time studying when she's really good at art? And maybe art is what she should be following, but she doesn't see this as like a career that is well respected enough, and she doesn't see this as what she should be doing. So she thinks that going to Cambridge and studying English, I think, is the best thing. And just like SpongeBob, you know, he's not supposed to go to the Salty Spittoon, he's supposed to go to Weenie Hut Juniors. And maybe Frances is supposed to study art and not English. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys liked my recommendations. Let me know what your favorite SpongeBob episodes are, and what your favorite quotes are, and what your favorite songs are, and let's have a ball just chatting about SpongeBob, because I love that show. And do you agree with my recommendations? Do you have a book that I should read based on these episodes that I haven't read yet? Let me know. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully I made a bit of sense. I'm sorry that I'm a bit tipsy, but it's how it is. Sometimes you just need to have a bit of wine, you know? But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys soon with another video soon. Bye! Krusty Krab pizza is the pizza, yeah, yeah, for you and me. I don't know if you heard my cat meowing. I'm filming a video here. Anyways, so Gary, can't you see I was blind? I'll do anything to change your mind. Gary, I'm sorry I neglected you. Oh, I never expected you to run away and leave me feeling this empty. Your meow right now would seem like music to me. Gary, come home. Amazing. So when Big Larry came round just to put him down, SpongeBob turned into a clown. And no girl ever wants to dance with a fool who went and ripped his pants. I know I shouldn't mope around, I shouldn't curse, but the pain feels so much worse. Then winding up with no one is a lot less fun than a burn from the sun or sand in your buns. Now I learned a lesson I won't soon forget. So listen and you won't regret. Be true to yourself, don't miss your chance. And you won't like the fool